Welcome to my channel Grow Joyfully. In this 6-part series, I am sharing my joyful journey in bokashi composting. In this video, I will demonstrate how I do indoor aerobic decomposition of the bokashi pickle in stage 2. In my previous video, I demonstrated how to fill the bokashi bin in stage 1. The day it is filled completely, the resting period starts. You need to keep the bin undisturbed, tightly closed in a cool shaded spot. Do not open at all. Extracting leachate regularly is required, otherwise the mix will turn putrid. The resting period is for a minimum of 15 days. You may leave it in resting for 3 to 6 months also. So just in case you go for a vacation, you may rest it. But you have to ensure that somebody extracts the leachate regularly. When you open the bin, do not expect the same dark black earthy smelling compost that you find in a traditional aerobic composting. What has happened here is fermentation process and not decomposition process. And this fermentation process does not change the outward appearance of the kitchen scraps, just like how cucumbers do not change appearance when they are pickled. The color, shape, size and structure remain the same. Maybe the kitchen scraps look a little softer. Actually, a lot of chemical reactions have taken place. Many beneficial substances have been produced by the anaerobic microbes, and they include enzymes, vitamins, amino acids, etc. But these are not observable by human eyes. You would have filled your bokashi bin 100% in stage 1. After the resting period, when you open the bin, you find that the overall volume has reduced significantly. I usually find a substantial reduction in volume, 35 to 50%. Typically, depending upon what went into the contents. The reason is very simple. The water content in the kitchen waste is getting drained out as leachate, and hence there is a reduction in volume. And when you drain the leachate regularly, you will also find the mix getting a little dry. When the bokashi bin is closed, you don't get any smell at all. But when you open it after the resting period, you will get a distinct sour sweet smell. Some people call it acid smell or the sour smell of fermented foods. But you should not get any putrid or rotten smell. Sometimes you may find a white mold formation on the top surface. This is a result of breeding filamentous bacteria in bokashi. This indicates that fermentation is happening and not putrefaction. But the white mold formation is not mandatory. Following the same process and using the same brand, I do have some bokashi bins having a lot of white mold and some hardly having any white mold. So long as the mold is white, it's fine. But if you don't get it, it's okay. When we open the bin, we should not find any creeper crawlies, maggots, houseflies, or any kind of insects. Their absence indicates 100% anaerobic environment, which is what is required for the fermentation process. Presence of maggots or insects indicates development of aerobic ambience. In outdoor scenario, the decomposition of the bokashi pickle in stage 2 happens by digging a pit. You dig a pit, say about 8 to 12 inches deep. Pour the entire contents of your bokashi bucket into the hole and mix well with the soil. Cover again with about 6 to 8 inches of soil on top. And after 2 to 4 weeks, you can plant anything in the bokashi enriched soil. This technique is not feasible in urban context. What if we live in an apartment? We don't have a farm. We don't have a backyard. Digging a pit is difficult or infeasible for us. So we need techniques which will help us in indoor urban context. The first technique that I'm going to demonstrate is indoor aerobic decomposition. In my earlier video, I had demonstrated filling of a bokashi bin at one shot on 27th January. 17 days have passed by. Today is 13th February 2022, and I'm going to demonstrate indoor aerobic decomposition. This part assumes that you are familiar with aerobic composting. If you are new to this concept, please go through my videos on this topic. In aerobic composting, we require a bin with holes to facilitate aeration. We also require browns and greens. In stage 2, the bokashi pickle serves as greens. For browns, you may choose to use cocoa peat, sawdust, crushed or uncrushed dry leaves, leaf mold, old compost, etc. You may use any of these alone or in combination. My choice is always uncrushed dry leaves. We add a handful of fully done or semi-done compost from earlier batch into the container. This acts as the starter. We now start the layering of the pickle with browns. I usually follow the ratio as 3:1. 3 parts of browns and 1 part of pickle. As you take out the pickle, spread it evenly in the bin. Here I am showing the layering technique. If possible, you may even mix the entire pickle with browns, retaining the same ratio and filling the container. You may use a terracotta bin as I am showing you here. You may also use plastic bins. Just ensure that you have holes on all sides to facilitate aeration. I find this process extremely easy to do in urban context. It is pretty fast work also. Usually I take the help of my house help. With 2 of us doing the layering, the stage 2 activity gets completed in just about 10 minutes for one bokashi bin. The big advantage as I see here is that there is no need at all to keep stirring the mix periodically as we do in traditional aerobic composting. In the end, please place more browns on top because the pickle smell is very strong and rodents get attracted to it. Cover the bin with a lid, keep it in shade, and just leave it for 10 or 15 days. And there is no need to stir during this period. After doing the stage 2 layering on 13th February, 10 days have passed by. I am now opening the bin on 23rd February. All you need to do now is make a few observations, stir the mix, moisten if required, and close the bin. I am transferring the contents to a tub just to demonstrate. You do not have to do this at all. Let me describe the observations you will make. You will first observe that the volume is reduced significantly. We filled the container to the brim and now it is only 60% full. I find the smell to be a little sweet sour and a little earthy, but there should not be any unpleasant smell or obnoxious smell at all. In the top portion, I had put a lot of dry leaves. They continue to be dry because I did not do any stirring in this 10-day gap. I find the bottom portion more decomposed and more humus-like. We also observe that the pickle has vanished completely. This is indeed a miracle that I witness every time in stage 2 when I do aerobic decomposition, and I am overjoyed. All we did was simple layering. Remember, I did not even mix the greens and browns and just left the pot aside for 10 days. It's a joyous sight indeed. Actually, I'm searching now if I can show you a piece of browns. I can only spot the stem of grapes. This is the power of bokashi, where the pre-composting or the fermentation in stage 1 results in very, very rapid decomposition of the pickle in stage 2. Also, I observe that there are no creepy crawlies at all. Just one maggot is all that we could spot. And the reason here is the pickle was relatively dry, and this happens when the leachate has been removed completely and regularly. Sometimes you may find your pickle a little soggy. In such a scenario, I suggest not to do stage 2 layering. Wait for some time, maybe for a week or so. Extract the leachate completely. Ensure that the pickle is dry before you do the layering. Dried pickle means appropriate moisture content, and hence you will not have any creepy crawly issues in stage 2. Had you used cocoa peat, compost, leaf mold, etc., you will find that your end product, the black gold, is almost ready. Not so in my case, because I had used dried uncrushed leaves. I will now moisten the mix. I will use diluted cow dung slurry for it now. There are only browns now, and browns will take more time to decompose. And my browns being uncrushed leaves, they will take more time. The smell is pleasant. There are no maggots. The greens are gone. Browns have started to decompose. These are excellent positive signs in stage 2. 3 weeks later, on March 16th, I am showing you the status of the mix. You may see that the dried leaves have begun to disintegrate. I have not done any stirring. I've just done a regular sprinkling with cow dung slurry and ensuring that the mix is kept moist. Another 3 weeks later, on April 6th, I'm showing you the mix. You can see that very rapid decomposition is now happening. I need this compost only for sowing during the monsoon season in India, somewhere around June. So I'm confident of getting the fully decomposed humus like black gold by then. In my next video, I will share another technique for Bokashi stage 2, which is direct layering in containers. I will share troubleshooting techniques and tips for successful Bokashi composting batch after batch. Thank you for watching my videos. Have a great day.